Ava Daniels always dreamed of a life beyond the ordinary, a life where her name would be remembered. At 27, she was one of the most beautiful actresses in the industry, and her looks alone could have gotten her anything. Yet, despite her fame and recognition, she found herself relegated to roles that hardly reflected her talents or potential. Today, she was playing an orange seller in a low-budget film, her face smeared with makeup to simulate the heat of a bustling street market. She stood by a corner of a dusty street, clutching a basket of oranges, offering them to passers-by who barely acknowledged her presence. The director, a tired-looking man in his 50s, shouted from behind the camera. "Cut! Good, but can we make it feel more desperate, Ava? Like the oranges are your last hope. Let's do it again." Ava forced a smile. Of course, no problem. But inside, she felt hollow. As she took a seat in the corner to rest, she couldn't help but think of all the roles she had auditioned for, all the projects that she had hoped would lift her career. Yet, she was often stuck playing these minor, stereotypical roles. Why couldn't she get the lead parts? Why wasn't she offered roles that reflected the talent she knew she had? She checked her phone. It was a message from Derek, her boyfriend. Derek had been in her life for 2 years, an oil heir with wealth beyond imagination. Their relationship had always been intense, full of passion, but lately, something had shifted. Derek had become increasingly insistent on her quitting acting, saying it was beneath her. Ava couldn't understand his insistence, but she couldn't ignore him either. Ava replied quickly, "I'm good. Can't wait to see you tonight." Her thoughts drifted back to their last conversation. Derek had yelled at her in the past, frustrated with her career, questioning her decisions. Ava loved him, but she couldn't ignore the fact that his love sometimes came with conditions. Derek stormed in, his face flushed with anger, tossing his keys onto the kitchen counter. Ava was sitting on the couch, flipping through a script for her next role, trying to forget the orange seller scene. But she couldn't. "What's this I hear about you playing an orange seller again?" Derek's voice was sharp, almost accusatory. Ava set the script aside and sighed. "Derek, please, we've been through this. It's just a role, it's part of the business." He crossed the room in a few strides, his presence dominating. "No, Ava, it's not just a role. You're wasting your time. You're better than this. You should be on the big screen, playing the leading lady, not this. I've been telling you for months, quit acting." Ava blinked, stunned. "You want me to quit? You know acting is my passion, Derek. It's what I love." He threw his hands up in frustration. "It's not enough," he snapped. "Look at you, struggling for these small roles. You could have everything, money, fame, a life with me, if you just give this up. You think you'll be remembered for playing an orange seller? You'll be remembered for being my wife." Ava stood up, a quiet fury in her chest. "I won't give up my dream for anyone, not even you, Derek. I'm not your accessory. I'm not going to live my life the way you want me to. I am my own person." His eyes softened for a moment, but then the anger came back, more intense than before. "If you don't quit, if you don't choose me over this, then maybe we're better off apart. Maybe I deserve someone who understands the bigger picture." Ava felt her heart drop to the floor. It wasn't the first time he had made such a demand. But this time, something inside her snapped. She had to choose herself, not him. "You're right. Maybe we are better off apart," Ava whispered. Tears welled up in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She walked toward the door. "Goodbye, Derek." The days following her breakup with Derek were an emotional whirlwind. Ava spent her time on set, burying herself in her work, but every now and then, she felt the pang of loneliness. Derek had been a big part of her life, but she had made the right choice. He wanted her to change for him, to mold herself into something she wasn't. But she couldn't do that. It wasn't long before she met Theo Matthews. Theo Matthews, an up-and-coming actor in his late 20s, had recently landed a minor role in a television series. He had messy brown hair, a charming smile, and an energy that radiated warmth. When he first saw Ava on set, he couldn't believe his luck. Ava Daniels, the Ava Daniels, was standing right in front of him. She was a star, a woman he had admired from a distance for years. "Excuse me," he stammered, walking up to her during a break. "Are you Ava Daniels? I just wanted to say I'm a huge fan of your work. You're incredible. I loved you in Chasing Tomorrow." Ava smiled, charmed by his enthusiasm. "Thanks. That's sweet of you to say." Theo's eyes sparkled. "I've seen all your films. I actually auditioned for a part in Fading Glory, but I didn't get it, but still, just to see you in person, it's unreal." Ava laughed softly, feeling a warmth inside. "I'm just like everyone else. We all have to work hard to get to where we are." They talked for a few more minutes, and Ava was surprised by how comfortable she felt around him. He wasn't like the other actors she had met, his admiration for her wasn't about her fame. He seemed genuinely interested in her as a person. Over the next few weeks, Theo and Ava became fast friends. They bonded over shared experiences of the industry, and soon, their friendship blossomed into something more. One evening, after a long day of filming, Theo invited Ava to dinner at a cozy restaurant tucked away in a quiet corner of the city. It was intimate, the flicker of candlelight casting soft shadows on their faces. Theo looked at Ava with a seriousness that made her heart race. "Ava," he began, his voice low, "I need to tell you something. I've been wanting to say this for a while now, but I didn't know how." Ava looked at him, her heart in her throat. "What is it, Theo?" "I'm not just a fan of yours," he said, taking her hand gently. "I admire you, not just for your acting, but for who you are. You inspire me every day. I don't know how I would have made it this far without you." Ava's eyes softened. She had been afraid of letting anyone in again after Derek, but there was something about Theo that made her feel safe. She smiled, squeezing his hand. "Theo, I didn't know you felt that way." He leaned in slowly, his lips brushing hers in a soft, tender kiss. From that night on, their relationship deepened. Theo moved into Ava's penthouse a few months later, and she helped him land better roles. His career flourished, and soon, he was invited to the same exclusive events Ava had attended. Ava couldn't help but feel proud of him. He was her project, her way of helping someone the way she had never been helped. She opened doors for him, introduced him to her contacts, and shared her spotlight. But as Theo's career skyrocketed, his behavior began to change. Theo's once charming personality began to fade. He started making demands that felt more like orders. His gratitude turned into entitlement. It started with little things, expecting Ava to buy him expensive gifts, complaining about the cars she had given him, demanding more space in her penthouse. The lines between love and manipulation became increasingly blurred. One evening, Ava came home to find Theo lounging on the couch, texting someone on his phone. "Hey, Theo," she said, taking off her coat. "How was your day?" Theo barely looked up. "Fine. But I need a new car. This one you got me is not cutting it. I need something flashier now that I'm becoming a bigger name." Ava froze. "Theo, you've only had that car for 2 months. What's going on?" He threw his phone down, his face darkening. "I'm trying to keep up appearances, Ava. Do you want me to crash and burn? You've helped me get here, but now you need to keep helping me. I need to look the part." Ava's stomach sank. This wasn't the man she had fallen for. He had become selfish, demanding, taking more than he was willing to give. Ava's suspicions grew as Theo's behavior became more erratic. He'd been spending less time with her, more time on his own, and had started making excuses for why he couldn't attend events with her. The tipping point came when Ava found a file buried in his bag one afternoon. It was divorce papers, with his ex-wife's name printed at the top. But it wasn't just the papers that caught her attention, it was the list of stolen assets. Theo had taken large sums of money from his ex-wife during their marriage, money that wasn't his. Ava's heart dropped as she realized the man she had fallen in love with was not only a liar but a criminal. Ava confronted Theo with the papers. "What is this, Theo? What have you been hiding?" He stood up from the couch, his face turning pale. "Ava, please, you don't understand." "No, you don't understand," she said, her voice trembling with anger. "You've been using me. You've been lying to me this entire time. You've stolen from your ex-wife, and now you're trying to do the same to me." Theo's eyes hardened. "You think I need your money?" "I don't. I've just been trying to survive in this business. You wouldn't understand." "You used me, Theo," Ava said softly, tears welling up in her eyes. "I gave you everything, and you took it for granted." Ava took a deep breath, her decision clear. "Get out, Theo. Get out of my life." Ava didn't hesitate. She reported Theo's thefts to the authorities, and he was arrested shortly afterward. His career crumbled, and he was publicly shamed for his actions. Ava stood in front of the camera, a renewed sense of purpose in her heart. She had survived betrayal, but she had come out stronger. Her career, once uncertain, now seemed limitless. She was no longer the girl who played petty roles, she was the woman who owned the spotlight. And this time, she would shine brighter than ever.